What's going on, guys? Climate Data Report here with the 11 a.m. update on Hurricane Beryl and other weather that's going on around the country. A big surprise at 11 a.m. Take a look at this. Hurricane Beryl on infrared satellite imagery. The eye wall has opened back up again. It has cleared once again, and the storm has started to strengthen again. As of the 11 a.m. advisory, just came in. They actually had to do a second update to the 11 a.m. advisory. Extremely dangerous Category 4 Beryl makes landfall on Carriacou Island. Air Force reconnaissance aircraft finds Beryl stronger. So they originally put 140 miles per hour at the 11 a.m. update. They actually had to do an update statement. It says maximum sustained winds are now 150 miles per hour. Minimum pressure is 950 millibars. It's moving west-northwest at 20 miles per hour. It is just borderline, almost ready to go Category 5. It would need to go just a little bit higher, and then it would reach Category 5. It says here, satellite imagery and Barbados radar indicate that the eye of Beryl has made landfall on Carriacou Island at 11:10 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Data from the Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that Beryl's maximum sustained winds have increased to 150 miles per hour. The latest minimum central pressure estimated from reconnaissance data is 950 millibars. Wow. So yes, Beryl has continued to get stronger, and Beryl is going to continue to go west. Eventually, it will weaken once again. As it goes further to the west, it may encounter a little bit of shear, but for the time being, it's over some very warm waters right now, so this is extremely concerning. It still has more islands that it will impact in this area of the Windward Islands. Then, of course, we have to keep our eyes on Jamaica, but the good news for Jamaica is it has shifted south a little bit, and then all eyes do turn onto what's going to happen with the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, and of course, will it go back into the Gulf? Well, indications are it will go back into the Gulf, but it will probably stay south of the U.S. Mexico-Texas border at this time, which that is some good news. There's just only one member here that turns it up north, way up into Texas. There's another, but that ends before it would actually hit Texas. Taking a look at the GFS, and you can see here on GFS, the next several hours, next 12 hours, it has a window where it will strengthen. Then after that, you can see here, it does maintain its strength, and the GFS still shows Beryl going towards Jamaica. Tropical guidance is further south, and I'll show you the rest of the GFS run. You can see it really weakens, and it tries to get going again in the Gulf, but remains weak as it heads over to Mexico. Let's take a look at the Canadian model from overnight and see what that shows. And that does also show Beryl continuing to move west. You can see that also has it going over Jamaica, so that's something we'll have to watch. Here's the official track from the Hurricane Center, which we're going to take a look at now. And you can see the official Hurricane Center track does take it very close to Jamaica. So I would not write this off by any means for Jamaica. You are definitely going to get some significant impacts. If you live in Jamaica, please take this seriously, and please heed all watches and warnings that go out from the National Weather Service. They are really the experts on this. You need to take seriously what the Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service does tell you. All right, moving on now, taking a look at some other weather across the United States. You can see here that there is heat that's going to be going on in the south, and we do see a lot of areas today that have these flood watches. We have one that's going on up in portions of Minnesota, the Four Corners region, South Carolina. You do actually have a moderate threat of excessive rainfall for today, and I will show that to you. Take a look at this. Yes, a moderate risk has been introduced for extreme portions of eastern Georgia and portions of South Carolina. Large slight risk surrounding that, and a slight risk up in the Midwest and portions of the plains today. Day 2, there's also a slight risk of excessive rainfall. What this means is flash flooding is likely in these areas. Marginal risk down along the border of the Florida Panhandle and portions of South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama for tomorrow. Marginal risk in the Four Corners region as well. And then a large marginal risk area that extends from portions of New Mexico and Arizona all the way through to Pennsylvania and New York, and then there is even a portion that goes into the Dakotas with a slight risk in between. We could see this slight risk area expand. Showers and thunderstorms are anticipated in these areas. A current look at radar does show we have showers and thunderstorms getting ready to move across Iowa, Missouri, moving out of Kansas and Nebraska. It seems like every day we're talking about showers and thunderstorms for you. There's already some showers and thunderstorms in North Carolina. There'll be more that pop up in South Carolina and Georgia over the next few hours. Some showers and storms expected for Florida today. And you can see Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, showers for you. Wyoming, Montana, showers for you. Beautiful weather in the Northeast today after what was a very humid and stormy day on Sunday. Let's take a look at that, shall we? And Sunday really was an impressive day. There were scattered, isolated, severe reports out in the mountains of the Colorado Rockies, but really the East Coast was the story yesterday. 288 wind reports, one being high, 17 hail reports, and a total there were 305 storm reports. No tornadoes were confirmed as of yet for yesterday, and so far today we can see here there are no reports received so far today. The one-day outlook shows that there is a slight risk of severe weather across portions of Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, portions of Iowa, and portions of Minnesota. 5% tornado area within that Nebraska area, and 2% north of that. There is wind, which is hatch at 15%, and a hail risk as well. Day 2, there is now an enhanced risk across portions of Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, and northern Missouri. So this is for a 5% tornado area, a 30% chance of damaging winds, and hail is at 15%. And then there is even day 3 threats as well from Ohio back across Indiana and Illinois, portions of Kentucky, and there's a slight risk that does go from portions of Kansas into Nebraska and even Colorado. So it's a very active period, and if I went even further, yes, there already is a day 4 risk as well. Taking a look at the 12Z HER model, you can see here that one cluster of storms does move out of portions of Nebraska and Kansas, but behind that, watch what happens. Yes, more storms get going. That's a warm front, actually, that pushed north, and then more storms get going. Some of these will be severe, and you can see here, some training segments do set up in South Carolina this afternoon, and that could last into the overnight hours. Not as impressive as you would expect, though, on the HER model, considering that they do have a moderate risk out there. Look at this tomorrow. Yes, more training, showers, and thunderstorms across portions of Iowa. Some of these will be severe, and that's why there is an enhanced risk. It looks like wind is the biggest threat for tomorrow, but either way, you do not need more rainfall in some of these areas. And as I advance this to Wednesday, you can see here, there's that boundary. It still will be in existence. Let's take a look at the days 1 through 7 precipitation, and we can see here, days 1 through 7, take a look at this. Very wet across the Midwest and portions of the central and northern plains, and not so wet across Pennsylvania and the mid-Atlantic, but I suspect as this forecasting period goes on, that will probably start to increase as that stall boundary is eventually going to mean trouble. Let's take a look at the Canadian model, and this is from last night, and we can see on the Canadian model, all the threats are as shown, and you can see Tuesday evening really gets impressive over portions of Iowa. So we are concerned about the threat of damaging wind, maybe even an isolated tornado or two, and then that boundary. It kind of stalls. 4th of July, for a lot of places, around fireworks time, unfortunately, you're going to be dealing with showers and thunderstorms from northern plains back across Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, even portions of Pennsylvania. There are going to be showers and thunderstorms. Just the daily pop-up thunderstorms in the southeast. And the west coast is looking really nice for the 4th, though it will be hot. Advancing this even further, you can see that boundary will be stalled from west to east, and along that, waves of energy will ride. You can see here, here's one that comes through on Friday evening, and take a look at that. That's some pretty heavy rainfall across the mid-Atlantic region, and then there will be a cold front that comes with this, and you can see that cold front is slow to clear. It does eventually clear by Monday in the southeast before an upper level low moves in, and look at that. Once again, more showers and thunderstorms daily, and I'm telling you, the pattern in the east has changed now. I know it's been very dry, but it's starting to become a much wetter pattern. All right, let's go back to Hurricane Beryl real quickly. Once again, recapping here. Hurricane Beryl is now with 150-mile-per-hour winds. You may have seen, we did a quick YouTube short which showed Beryl at 140 miles per hour. I had to delete that because they did a surprise update 10 minutes later saying, hey, the hurricane hunters found it stronger, with the winds being at 150 miles per hour, and the pressure is now down to 950 millibars. They're going to continue to fly into this, so we'll have to see if it can get to Category 5 status. I don't think it's going to, but expect the unexpected with Beryl, because just this morning, like I said, just this morning, the eye wall was going through a replacement cycle. Then it quickly opened back up, and you can see there is a perfectly clear eye wall as it's heading through these islands right now. Eventually, it will pass the islands. Eventually, it will probably maintain its strength for another 12 hours, and then it may weaken some over time. There may be a little bit of shear down the line that tries to hamper with it. Jamaica, you still need to keep a close eye on the system because you are going to be potentially in the path. It's probably going to pass just south of you, but you know what? That is on 8 p.m. That is on Wednesday, between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. This could easily slowly shift back north. You saw two global models that say, hey, this is going to track a little bit further to the north. Keep an eye on that. If this should track right over you, you would have some serious problems because even though they're not saying it would be a major hurricane at that point, keep an eye. It'll probably be at least a strong 2, and who knows, it could still stay at Category 3 status at that point. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's weather update. If need be, we will pop back in again later this evening with another update on Beryl and anything else that's going on. If not, I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, please stay safe if you're in the path of any of the weather events that I mentioned today. Subscribe down below. Give this a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell, and share my videos with anyone you know. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.